Ciao from Italia.
Ciao. Chin chin.
So yeah, we're in Italy at my parents' place at the moment. We haven't posted in a while because we've been working opposing schedules, which has been a challenge.
Yeah, so I work like your typical like 9 to 5, and then Lilian works, what is it?
2 to 10.
2 to 10. So it's like we
don't even know each other anymore.
Yeah, but we're managing, we're making it work somehow, like right now. What are we talking about?
We thought it's time to finally make our Ask Alexis and Lilian video happen. So a lot of you always reach out to us asking for advice on specific situations that you have, and honestly the best way to do that is just to go to our Wizio, where you can then get a personalized response. We'll put a link below because we don't always have the capacity to respond to everyone. But so as another way to kind of get back to some of you on some of the questions, we've also identified some common questions that we get. So we thought that in this Ask Alexis and Lilian segment we can just go through some of your questions and also help some other people by publicly responding to them.
I'm like sitting so awkwardly on you.
Why don't you put your one ass cheek on here?
No, I'm not gonna do it.
But so before we jump into the questions, a quick note on our sponsor for today's video. It is our dear friends over at Ana Luisa, and I think I have a necklace that some of you are gonna be really into. This is Ana Luisa's naked lady necklace, and
Love it. Love
it
a good naked lady.
of Alexis's body.
Well, you can have a real body on your neck, baby.
God,
it's weird when that happens. I recently got these little dots, which are super cute. Obviously, I really love them because they're sustainable and their stuff actually lasts. Like, you can wear it in the pool, you can wear it in the shower, you can wear it literally all the time, and it's not gonna turn silver or get gross.
they also start at really affordable prices, so there's something in there for everyone, starting from I believe like $39 and up. And this month they're also having a site-wide sale of 20% off, so go check out the website. We'll put the link below and get yourself some little nice pieces. Ask Alexis and Lilian, what are the questions? First question. I came out 2 years ago but never really dated a woman for longer until now. Now I met this woman that I really like as a person. We've been seeing each other for a few weeks and I feel very comfortable with her. The thing is, I have trouble feeling physical or sexual attraction to her. I'm something in the direction of demisexual, so I'm used to not having physical attraction right away. But usually, at least with men, I get it after getting to know the person and liking them. But now it's so different and I haven't figured out yet if this lack of attraction is gender specific or if I just don't feel these kinds of attractions towards her specifically. I really hope it's not gender specific because I really don't like to date men anymore, but I also like seeing her. Thanks in advance. Do you have any advice on this?
I would say, just like the previous relationship this person was in with a man, that the attraction, like the sexual attraction, came after. I feel like for myself, it doesn't really matter if it's like a man or a woman. For me, that comes after.
So your advice would be wait it out, it's probably gonna come.
Yeah.
I'll come in with a different perspective.
Ready.
So I agree about the whole waiting, and especially, you know, if she identifies as demisexual. But I have been in the situation where I like someone, I like being around them, but I'm not sexually attracted to them. And that was really confusing for me because I was into the person and I had the whole things of like, you know, oh, being like nervous being around them, blah, 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 but then just never having the whole like, oh, I like think you're so attractive, I think you're so hot, I would really want to, you know, like all of that. And so I didn't really know how to navigate that. And then it was like in the end those other feelings like of like just liking the personality and like how we went together were stronger than the attraction part. But it never came. Because people always assume that you have both in a relationship and that you need both in a relationship. And it's like you kind of need to see if it's something that's really important to you. And in the end it actually was important to me, and that's why that was not a story that went well. I think the moral of the story is it can happen that you get along with really well with a person, that you can even fall in love with a person, but that you're just not sexually attracted to them. but that can be person specific. It doesn't need to be gender specific. I mean, it's gonna be up to you in the end to figure out if it is gender specific, because maybe it won't happen with any woman, but just because it's not happening with this particular one, it doesn't mean that it's never gonna happen with any other women.
I think that this person has kind of narrowed it down that she doesn't like being with men, so I feel like, okay, like that's great, you've got that figured out, so just focus on women. And you know, maybe it's not going to work out with this person, maybe the sexual spark's not going to come, but it may come with the next one.
I did a video on this, I don't know if you already watched it, but what the difference is between sexual attraction and romantic attraction, and I think it goes down to that, the difference between those both, and they're unfortunately not always present. If you want to have both of them present, you need to keep looking. Next one. I feel like we've gotten this question actually a bunch of times, and it's something that tends to happen in the queer community. How do you deal with having a partner that is not out? That isn't comfortable with being out yet, that doesn't have a specific timeline for it yet, you're happy with them otherwise, but it still bothers you because you can't fully be yourself if you're already out but your partner isn't out, and you have to keep that whole thing on the down low. How do you go about that? And that is really tough.
Yeah, that is super tough, because then you feel like you can't be out yourself, especially when you're with them, right? So my best advice is, honestly, you're gonna have to wait it out, because it's their own choice and they get to come out whenever they feel the most comfortable. I think the thing is that you need to remember is that they want to come out. Like, no one wants to just stay in the closet, like, come on. So yeah, I would just say time is your best friend in this, and once time passes and they're feeling the most comfortable, they're gonna come out. So I think that just during this time, you just need to be supportive and really understanding, and yeah, just look at the positives.
Yeah, I think it's a really challenging situation to be in, because you don't want to pressure anyone into coming out. You don't want to give anyone an ultimatum like, if you're not going to come out within the next 6 months, I don't want to be with you anymore, right?
Because that's just not cool.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, we all know like what it's like to come out and how difficult that is, and some of us are more fortunate than others in terms of like the family we have and the environment that we're in. On the other hand, you also need to think about your specific needs, right? Like, if you fought hard to come out and you're proud and you're confident and you just want to, you know, be out and proud with your girlfriend and not have to hide that and have to kind of like go back into the closet because of that, that's also really difficult. So I think if the relationship is good and the partner that you're with is worth waiting it out for, then definitely do that and let them know that they have your support, and try as much as possible to, you know, make them confident and find out, you know, what is it that is holding them back from coming out. Is there anything you can do to kind of mitigate that situation, to make it more comfortable or more safe for them? But at the end of the day, it's a very personal decision, and yeah, just it's important that both people understand each other's perspective and find some sort of solution, because for me, for example, in the end, if I knew this person is never gonna come out, that's deeply gonna affect my life as well, you know, and that's like a tough decision to make. So yeah, it's important to be like honest and realistic about what is gonna be happening there, if there's some sort of, you know, light at the end of the tunnel. We have also heard lots of stories where people, you know, waited it out and supported each other, and in the end, you know, help their partner to come out and be comfortable with that, and then we're like, okay, we went through this together, and that makes you like even stronger. So the next question is, we get this actually quite often, it's a recurring question. A lot of people talking online, maybe Tinder, maybe Bumble, whatever the situation is, and they end up just not messaging you back, so like ghosting you. So I think it depends, because what time passes until it's called ghosting, you know, because it's like 2 days, 3 days, okay, this person could just be busy doing things with their life, you know, like we don't want to be constantly on our phone all the time, and yeah, life happens, people get caught up. If there's just no response, or it's like pulling teeth to get a response from this person,
I say bye-bye to them.
Yeah, and again, I have been in this situation, and I can understand a lot of you, especially when you go into that point where you're, you know, reaching out for advice. What should I do about this person? I was like Googling, like, what could it be? Or do they just like the chase and yada yada?
Which can be the case.
Yes, but a lot of times it's just, you know, you're not a priority. For whatever reason. It's not necessarily because they don't like you. They could just be having other things going on in their life, or like they're seeing someone else that they're kind of iffy, but we don't know that, right? But at the end of the day, if they're ghosting you, meaning that they aren't replying to you anymore, they're giving you like really little, at the end of the day, that means that for whatever reason, they're not that interested. I actually did a research project about ghosting, and there's so many different reasons why people ghost. It's a form of avoidance. That's what it is at the end of the day. I know what it's like to be like sending a message and being like, please respond. And like my day would be like good or bad, whether this person finally responds or not. And like, that's not how it should be, you know?
Yeah. No, and like, obviously I've also been through that where I'm thinking like, all right, like, am I not cool enough for this person? Am I not like attractive enough for this person? Maybe I'm not funny enough. Like, what is it that is making them not message me back? Because I feel like the conversation was going pretty well. So, but I feel like at the end of the day, if they're leaving you on red, if they're just even responding super quickly and vague, then I feel like, you know what, your time is precious and you don't need this person in your life, like really.
I didn't actually call it ghosting if you had never met the person, because I feel like there's different etiquettes. If you've actually met in person and then they ghost you, you know, they've seen what you're like in person, they have an idea of the person that you are, and they might just for whatever reason not be that interested. If it's before you actually meet up, I think it's different, because conversations fade all the time, you know? It's like actually the minority of messages that actually end up in a date. At some point or later, they usually dwindle down, you know?
But I feel like when I'm really into someone and I'm like attracted to them and I find that, you know, I want to meet up with them, I'm constantly messaging and keeping the conversation going. So
yes, you and I, our conversation on Tinder dwindled down several times before we eventually finally met up. You know, if I hadn't messaged you again, it would have just been one of those conversations that went to nothing.
I know. But the conversation started again.
I know, but I'm saying you don't know how interested you are in a person until you actually meet them. So I think if you haven't met up yet and they keep kind of not giving you that much, talking online is pretty boring. It's difficult to always make it entertaining. Make a point out of meeting up and then take it from there. Try to be patient. If it's after meeting up, it's like, okay, I guess maybe you weren't like that into me. And it's also cool to just ask them directly, you know, like, hey, you know, I like you, I'm interested, what about you?
Or am I wasting my damn time?
Exactly, because honestly, I've had to then just be like, I'm gonna stop reaching out to this person, and it sucked because I always still had that hope, are they still gonna respond or something? But sometimes you just gotta rip the band-aid off and be like, it's not gonna be this person, next.
And then I come along and I'm like,
exactly.
Hey,
I'm like,
baby.
Thank God I ripped that off.
Because I kept the conversation going with you. Right?
Yeah.
And I clearly showed I was interested.
That concludes our first Ask Alexis and Lilian segment. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, if you want them to be responded privately, please send them to our Wizio. We're happy to respond to you there. You get like a little personalized video response from us. If you're cool with it being replied publicly, just send it to our email or to one of us on Instagram, and maybe we'll pick it up in the next one.
Yeah. In the meantime, get that 20% off at Ana Luisa, and maybe at your next date you can wear something cute.
All right, we'll go down to the beach, enjoy some sun, keep working on that tan, and enjoy my lunch break at 6 p.m.
Thank you so much for watching.
Cheers!
Cheers!